Welcome to the Fort Johnson podcast. In this episode, we're diving into an important topic that is often overlooked during the holiday season, fire safety. As our community at Fort Johnson gears up for celebrations and festivities, it's crucial to remember the necessary precautions to ensure a safe and enjoyable holiday season for all of us. So let's get started with our conversation about holiday safety. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching this podcast. I am Jeff England from the Fort Johnson Public Affairs Office, and this is the Fort Johnson podcast. Today with me, I have two special guests who I am going to allow them to introduce themselves. From Safety Office, we've got
Kelby Jones.
Kelby Jones, I'm over here. And, and we got Jimmy. Jimmy, introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Jimmy MacArthur. I'm with the Fort Johnson Fire Department.
Sweet. Love the fire department, man. Who doesn't love a fireman?
I don't know. That's
I know. That's
Let's not find out, though.
That's the job that everybody wanted to get into.
Right. Yeah.
So,
got to get in the right line at career day, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's coming up on turkey season, and shortly after that, Christmas season. I've seen the Christmas carols and movies and decorations already starting to come out. They were out before even Halloween. It's like,
I think 4th of July is when they started coming out.
It's crazy.
At Walmart. And
yeah, my
wife
watches Christmas movies like year round.
Yeah, Christmas in July, you know, it's a thing. You know, I think in Louisiana, it's just like they keep the Christmas tree up. They just decorate it with different things.
That's
right. All throughout
you get a Mardi Gras tree. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But I did find out one good thing about November 1st.
What's that?
You don't know yet.
Not yet.
Halloween candy's 50% off.
Oh, everybody knew that.
Missed out
You
on
just
that.
found out? Yeah, everybody
That's
knew
the
that.
best time. It's like
Yeah.
there's like certain days, and I'm sitting there going like, we should start a new family tradition. Let's start Halloween on November 1st. That way we could get like the 50% off candy, and then we can have Christmas on December 26th or 29th or something. That way we can have like half off and all that stuff for Christmas decorations.
I think it's forward-leaning right there, you know, just thinking about the following year. Take the bag of candy, throw it in the deep freeze, and then, take it out a couple days prior.
Absolutely. Oh, frozen Snickers. Those are good.
Yeah.
They get hard, but the ice cream Snickers are good too.
Yeah, they are.
Not quite the same.
I don't think they
digress.
pass those out.
So let's see. The first thing that came through before or after Halloween? We had our fallback time change in there, and that we change the times usually twice a year. I end up changing my times like 15 times a year because of all the power outages and stuff. So I have to reset the clocks on the microwave and stuff. But the things that I've always known is to change your batteries when you change the clocks on your smoke detectors.
That's exactly right. A lot of times it's just easy to remember that. Change the clock, change the batteries. That's like the most simple way to remember that right there.
And also, if your alarm or if your fire alarm or smoke detector starts chirping at you, just like chirp, chirp, like every couple minutes, change the battery. Don't.
That's right. Don't try
Just
to
ignore it. It's fine.
A lot of people just tear them off the wall. Problem solved.
Exactly.
You know?
I wish there was a button on the fire or on the smoke detectors. You've got the test button, and I wish there was another button that says I'm just cooking.
I do that too. I test mine every weekend. You can ask my son, So
Oh, you probably have fun with that.
I'm learning how to cook. You know?
I like testing mine at like 5 a.m.
That's a good
It's
way
a
to
good wake-up call. Right
Oh, yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Can't hit the snooze alarm.
Go to school. Go to school. So safety, and then Halloween, of course. When you go out for Halloween, and it's dark out, and it's getting darker sooner. So adjust your lights, and if you have timers on your lights, adjust those to reflective Halloween costumes and stuff. But we're done with that, and we're going into deep frying the turkey season.
Yeah. Now, if you can, I think the Forge still does something where they can actually sell turkeys and things like that.
Yes,
so
they do.
That's one thing that if you want to support the Fort Johnson community and other things like that, plus Charles does a great job every single year. And
Oh, yeah,
him and his
he's
team
great.
are phenomenal. Yeah. But if people do want to do it, I mean, there's a lot of considerations that people need to take into mind. And one of them being is just like when you're cooking with oil, especially if they have a frozen turkey and they just dump it in there.
Yeah, that's the best time.
And if so, then be 50 feet away from any building, structure, combustible.
And do it right inside the kitchen.
If you want to, as long as
You'll see Jimmy on Thanksgiving that way for sure.
If you want to see the fire department, if you have good insurance, I'm not gonna say not to though. But that's a couple things. So we got to understand like fire, and I don't want to like dive too deep into it though. But fire, there's different ways of putting out and mitigating fires and things like that. And so one common misconception with fire is just like people think that they can put like, baking powder or baking soda on it, which is true for like baking soda. So a lot of times people use flour or baking powder.
I wouldn't use flour.
So you have 4 things that can help a fire to grow. And you need fuel, heat, oxygen, and chemical. So a chemical reaction, a bad chemical reaction, can actually make the fire worse. So we recommend if you take anything away or add anything to the fire, it puts it out. So if you have like an oil fire, just smother it. Just put a lid on top of it, cover it with a cooking sheet or something like that. If you can turn it off, turn off like, if you have a natural gas or just whatever it is, the fuel source, cut it off. So you're mitigating a lot of things right there and just robbing the fire away from growing and things like that.
I saw this commercial for it's a fire blanket. It's like a heavy duty blanket that it doesn't take up a lot of room. You just fold it up and put it next to the stove or whatever in the kitchen, and you throw it on top of whatever the fire is, and it's fireproof. It's fireproof. It's heavy, and it'll smother that fire right quick. And some of the things that they show in the commercial is people panicking.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I understand, so there's a difference between understanding and justifying it. So I understand, like, you can see it on YouTube and it's all fun and games, but then, like, that's what makes it worse, is because people panic and they pick it up and now they're burning themselves, but they're not thinking clearly. So they're picking it up and they're trying to take it out of the home.
Yeah.
So as they're exiting the home, who knows what's going to happen if there's like pets, kids, whatever's in the way.
Curtains.
Right. Next thing you know, it's just like the fire goes from the stovetop. Now it's like burns on you, burns on a child possibly. The curtains, the walls, everything is on fire spread. And then you throw it outside, and while you're outside, you're watching your house burn down.
Yeah, and not to mention you got the oil. If it's an oil fire, you got the oil sloshing around,
That's
so
right.
it's going to slosh onto everything around you, including you. Right. And now you're on fire, and that's not going to help. I mean,
that's the one gift that keeps on giving that you don't want.
I hear. Oh, I saw another video where some guy was being stupid on YouTube, of course.
No.
And he caught himself on fire. And he instinctively stopped, dropped, and rolled and put it out. And the caption was, "Wow, who knew?"
Yeah, it pays off. Sparky the dog's right.
It is. I've met Sparky the dog.
Have you?
Yeah, he plays the ukulele.
Does he really?
Yeah, he does.
And he skateboards too, I think.
He skateboards too.
The dog.
Yeah. Oh, we taught him well. He knows a lot of tricks.
So what does the safety department have to say about safety? What's your big thing for the Thanksgiving holidays to be safe about?
Well, honestly, what I put out for my guys was fire safety. Actually, it came off of NFPA website. It's a great tool. They got a lot of good info. But I got some other good stuff, safety related. That's not quite fire safety.
Well, yeah, it's all safety. I mean, you're safety. He's fire.
Right.
Together,
So, together,
we can make something.
It's fire
right.
safety.
There you go.
When
Who's going to make a child? There you go.
So when you're preparing your Thanksgiving dinner, there's all kinds of dishes that people love, and if you stop and you think about it, how many times have you washed that cutting board that you're cutting up your vegetables and your meat like really well?
Well, actually, we keep we have several different cutting boards, and one is specifically for meat, one specifically for vegetables.
That's good.
One's for bread, and the thing that I noticed is like a butcher block and stuff. You don't want to do meat on wood cutting surfaces because the germs and stuff.
Bacteria. Because did you know there's more than 200%? There is 200% more fecal bacteria on a cutting board than your toilet seat. It's a true story.
You just ruined Thanksgiving for me right there.
Yeah. So make sure you're sanitizing those cutting boards.
That's disgusting.
It is terrible, right? So that also goes into knife safety, right? So you want to make sure you're cutting away from yourself.
You know, I'm just not going to get that picture out of my head.
Yeah, no.
What is this on my board? Like, don't worry about it.
Scratch that off there.
Yeah, toilet seat's cleaner than this cutting board right here.
So maybe change that out.
Yeah, that might be a
or
good
have
idea.
a good sanitizing practice. But yeah, knife safety is super important. You don't want to have a bloody finger in your turkey. No, yeah, don't lose the tip of that thumb.
Yeah.
Always cut away from yourself.
That's an interesting story. I'll have to tell you about
I was about to say, it looked like it triggered a
it
story
did.
just by your little reaction right there.
I was making a pulled pork. I was going to be making pulled pork for lunch, and I like consistency because, you know, if you have a consistent cut on your food, it cooks more evenly and stuff.
Sure.
So I was using a mandolin slicer to cut an onion, and instead of cutting it in half and using the guard to properly use this, I just grabbed the whole onion and went to slice, and it stuck on that blade, and my hand slipped off and went right through that blade and cut a perfect. But it is a perfect 1/4-inch cut. Lost the tip of my thumb.
Hey, you know, it'd be interesting, like, with this, if this is on YouTube, if everybody can share a story, too, just, like, kind of tag that in. As far as just like, well, shoot, I got a better one. There's always a Tommy
How to lose
Topper
that
out
finger.
there where it's just like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, try to top us. Tell us your stories in the comments below. Let us know.
Because a lot of times people learn lessons not from like the success stories, but like the shortcomings and stuff like that. You know, fail stands for, you know, first attempt in learning. You know, so everybody has some fails to share. You know,
That's good.
but sorry to cut you off.
No, you guys are good.
No, that's what we do around here. We cut people off. That's,
No pun intended, right? Go on with the knife safety, huh?
Yeah, no, that's good for knife safety, guys. Some other common holiday injuries, you know, ladder safety. You know, you're putting up Christmas decorations.
Thinking of like Chris Griswold right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you do not want to be Mr. Griswold. Absolutely.
That's a good movie to watch. Just for
Oh,
like
yeah.
a little.
And
What not to do.
That's an AAR right there for everything.
It is. I've got the moose mug for my eggnog. And I like pulling that out, everyone. But one of the antlers fell off, so now it's just a one-sided handle.
Now we know what to get you for Christmas.
Oh, absolutely. So you got knife safety and ladder
safety.
And you know what the most famous ladder company is?
What's that?
Arosuchik. It's the Arosuchik ladder. Arosuchik
See what
ladder.
you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that joke right there.
I believe in Santa Claus it is actually a rose such a ladder.
Yes, that's
that
where I
is-
got it. It was from the movie.
But other ones, luggage lifting. So you can sprain your back, twist an ankle, whatever. You
See,
know,
what I know about lifting heavy objects is to completely leave the back out of it. Leave your legs completely out of it. Lift
Right,
with
all
the back
back,
with a
all back.
twisting, jerking motion.
Very quick,
Real quick.
sharp jerking motions. That's
Yeah.
the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll actually put more vacation days added on.
Oh, yeah,
That is correct.
Yeah.
If, you know, this is what we do here. This is good. This is good safety stuff.
Practice lift safety.
Yes. And choking. I don't know about you guys, but I eat a lot during Thanksgiving, and I know there's been a couple of times.
Yeah, we hear about what's on the cutting board, so.
Yeah. So yeah, the meats, right? You
Then
got
they
your
always tell you to
ham.
wait. You can't wait. You got to eat, and then you eat at the end of the day, and then everybody's like trying to just like shovel it down their throats. And
That's
stuff
right.
like that.
Absolutely.
So, which is potential for choking hazard.
Choking
right there.
hazard.
And then you take a nap.
Right.
After you pass out, turkey coma, right?
That's right. That's right. So yeah, just watch for that. If you know how to do the Heimlich maneuver appropriately, do that. I have the steps if you guys want to list them out.
The hard part about doing a Heimlich maneuver is if you're by yourself and you have to perform it on yourself.
That's near impossible.
Yeah.
I've heard that. People
have-
use like the chair.
Yep.
Do so.
You use the chair to basically fall on the chair.
What else are you gonna
Yeah.
do if you're by yourself?
Right.
Choke.
Or Heimlich on a chair.
So yeah, you get the person to stand up. You position yourself behind the person. You lean the person forward. Give them 5 blows to their back with the heel of your hand. So this little bit right here. Place your arms around their waist. Make a fist and place it just above the navel, thumb side in. Grab the fist with the other hand and push it inward and upward at the same time to perform 5 of these in an abdominal thrust. Repeat until the object is expelled from the mouth.
That can also be just a quick gut punch.
Yeah. Right in the jejunum, right?
Yeah. That can always help, It makes you feel better by getting the aggression out, and it helps them by, not choking it.
Keeping them alive.
I'm still trying to wait for somebody that needs like mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, like a supermodel or something. I've always
that's what a mistletoe's for.
yeah.
Wrong holiday.
Yeah, wrong holiday. Well, no, it's coming up.
Actually,
So.
about that, Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
Rolls in. Like Christmas is actually like that. Like Thanksgiving to me is like the inauguration of the Christmas season.
It is.
Because like right when you're finished like eating Thanksgiving and the Christmas or the Thanksgiving Day parade's over, then it's just like It's a Wonderful Life and other things start playing and showing. And,
as long as
like
the Bumpus's dogs don't come over and just ransack your kitchen and take your turkey out.
You're going to be eating goose.
Yeah, so make sure you wear eye safety too, because you'll shoot
Eye
your eye
safety,
out,
yes,
right? If you get a deep or something.
That's the rule of my.
I love it when
house.
people can keep up with my quotes.
Yeah, I got you, man. I got you. I subscribe to that. Yeah.
No Christmas decorations till after Thanksgiving.
Yes, please.
Like that is the rule.
I like having the Christmas lights up on the house the day after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
That's
That's acceptable.
Thumb is actually
Yeah.
the Advent, when Advent starts, like the 25 days and things like that. Though.
I've got an Advent. I've got 2 Advent calendars this year. One is from last year, but then I got this year too. And it's instead of chocolate, 16-ounce German beers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one a day.
All right. There you go.
That's it. That's all I got for you guys from my part. So.
Sweet. Now the going from Thanksgiving is just practice for Christmas. That's why we have turkey on Thanksgiving and
That's
Christmas.
right.
Yeah, and the deep frying the turkey is my favorite way of cooking, because I mean what else can you do? Drop a big old bird in a big old pot of
and
thing.
if it goes south, then you can just have s'mores for dinner.
Yeah,
if it does create a fire.
And always use the right oil. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you cannot find peanut oil or better, don't deep fry a turkey in canola oil. It just doesn't work. Mine came out like pitch black.
Ooh.
And then you peel the skin off, and the turkey on the inside was great.
Oh,
it was
really?
great.
Wasn't dry?
The skin's
No,
the best
it
part.
was great. But the skin, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
it retains a lot of the juices and seasoning and things.
and some of the things that I know, since I like doing this, pre-measure your bucket that you're going to be filling with oil. So you take your turkey, fill it with water, and put your turkey down, or put your turkey in there, fill it with water up to where it's just covering it, and then mark it on the inside of that pot, and then take the turkey out, make sure everything is dried. You don't want wet in there at all. And then you fill the oil up to that line, and boom, you're good to go.
Yeah, and just in case, it's not a bad idea to have like fire extinguishers nearby.
Absolutely.
Make sure we do it in an area that nothing can like catch on fire. If there's like any splatter, or if you drop it too fast and anything happens, if things go south, at least have a backup plan, because life doesn't go perfect all the time.
Out in the middle of the driveway is usually the best, because you don't have the grass on there. You normally don't have a lot of trees or anything that's burnable.
Yeah.
Around there. So
As long as Ed's not out there with his camper.
oh yeah. Why is it glowing green?
No, but an interesting fact that I actually looked up or whatever. So I looked up a couple things before we came on this podcast.
Oh, look at you doing research and stuff.
I try to be somewhat educated. But this interesting fact, like Kelby was talking about, NFPA has a lot of interesting things too as well. So it says Thanksgiving is actually the peak day for the home cooking fires, more than 3 times the daily average for such incidents. And I didn't know this. Christmas Day and Christmas Eve ranked 2nd and 3rd for the daily average. So Thanksgiving actually takes first place for that.
Wow.
And so this was an interesting stat right here as well. 297% increase over the daily average.
Wow.
And so cooking causes half, or 53%, of all reported home fires, and nearly 2 of every 5 home fires end up in injuries and things like that, like people burning their hands, arms, and things like that.
Why is it? I need to have like a psychologist in here or something, because
You do? He just left.
Yeah.
There, yeah.
Why is it that people, and I'm guilty of it too, it's like, here, grab this, and you go into the oven to pull out a pot with your bare hand.
Yeah.
I've done it several times, and I'll catch myself before I do it, but I've known, you go in there, you grab it, and it's like you burn yourself because you forget it's hot or whatever. It's like
you're
in the
fixated on
oven.
something like that. Yeah, you're just like, I'm hungry. I don't care. I just want it. And then you don't think like,
Or then you could go to the fast food places to get the hot apple pies, or as I like to call them, the lava pies. You bite into that, and just the inside of your mouth is just burnt to a crisp.
And yet you go for that second bite.
Absolutely.
You're like, it hurts,
Well, your mouth
but it
open.
tastes so good.
Trying to
Yeah. You just take a swig of water and then just re-engage. Try again.
Yeah.
Now the other things, don't forget stuff that's in the oven. That's my mom's favorite. Is she always forgets something. One year it's the mashed potatoes or the beans or the rolls. It's like
Sweet potato casserole with the marshmallows on top.
oh yeah, and don't burn those.
And there's
that's an
people that
easy
actually
fire.
have like 2 or 4 ovens,
Yeah.
So they have like one oven is strictly for like things like turkey and things like that. Another one is for like desserts, pies, just whatever have you, or just whatever, and they mix it up. A couple of other things is just like, stay in the kitchen. Like when you're in the kitchen cooking. And I know this sounds like such a I shouldn't be able to say this though, but how many people leave, whether it's like the Cowboys are playing or whoever's playing. So you kind of go in and out just to check, what the score is or whatever. Kids are fighting. Surprisingly, it does happen in some homes. So you got to mediate or be a ref and things like that. So unattended cooking contributes to like most, if not over half of the cooking fires that we actually experience in the fire department. Is people just like cooking and then just leaving the area.
Yeah, that's a big problem with people with ADD and stuff.
Well, then that's why we test the smoke alarms, people.
That's right.
So now we should have fresh batteries.
But I'm in the business of fire prevention.
Right.
There's being proactive and reactive. So there's
proactive.
Yeah, I would rather work
smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
That's not a timer. That's
I gotcha. But we also want to keep children away from the stove and at least 3 feet away. That's a good rule of thumb.
That brings up the other thing is something that some people just don't realize. When you're cooking on the stove, turn your handles in, like over the counter or away from that, because little hands reach up and grab and pull over a pot of boiling water.
Or you can accidentally do it whenever you're walking by. You know? To go throw something away in the trash, or just, again, check the score on the game, or just whatever, This one thing, I didn't really think about it, but I think it was a good catch too as well by NFPA, was just like, watch out for the steam. The steam or splash from vegetables, gravy, or coffee could cause serious burns as well.
And you know how you can mitigate that? Is when you open up the pot, open it away from you.
That's right. Kind of like his shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
kind
like
of shield it away.
Captain
a lot of
America.
people don't think about that, but steam burn.
Those are the worst.
My wife does it all
It's
the time.
overlooked.
Those are like paper cuts.
Yes.
Because every time people think about like fire safety and Thanksgiving or the holidays, they think like, oh, turkey and grease fires. But it's just like, well, that's part of it, but not all of it. Right. So, but that, and like you said and touched on, like make sure the smoke alarms are working and testing them. And one of the things that I do in my own home is whenever I test it, I would like my son to kind of like know 2 ways out of every home. God forbid if anything was to block their exit, like their primary egress, they know alternate means of trying to get out.
Right.
And not only that, but have a meeting place. Right. And we teach this in like elementary schools, but I ask the kids, we practice it monthly at like the elementary schools though, but I ask the kids, how many of them practice fire drills in their own home? And not too many do.
Yeah.
And the important thing is like whenever the fire department arrives on scene, some of the questions we're going to ask if we don't already have the information is like type and location of fire, and is everyone out? And if so, where was the last place that they were? Right. So one of the things that we don't want is the loss of property is hard enough, but the loss of life, that's going to forever change your Christmas, your holiday season, things like that.
And a lot of things that people forget is if you are going to have a plan like that, don't forget your pets.
That's right.
Don't
go out. Once you're out, stay out. And your pets are important too. And the meeting place you need to have, just because that's where you do your accountability. Everybody in the military does this anyways on a daily basis. When you show up for like PT formation, you give accountability. If they're not there, you at least know where they are. If you're like, hey, all accounted for, 1 in sick call or whatever, same thing. Everyone's accounted for. We know where everyone is. And so try to make sure everybody's on like the same page, where they go out to the front or to the back or whatever it may be, or a neighbor's house, something that's like an immovable object. Right. Don't have it like at a car, because that car may not be there. But like have it at like an oak tree, a mailbox, just whatever have you, that you can do a face-to-face with the fire department, so you can feed them information so they can actually do a good customer, because we're in the business of customer service. So we want to make sure that we serve the public well, you know, and preserving life, property, and everything around there as well.
Yeah, my house is apparently perfectly located on our street because that's where they set up the command center. Is right in my front yard.
There you go. So they got the JIC and they got the IC, everything
Yep.
right there. One-stop shop right there, you know.
Yep, and when I got home and I saw them set up in my yard, it's like, welcome.
Yeah.
You are more than welcome to stay here as long as you
Yeah.
want. Is there anything I can get you?
Feel a little bit safer at that point
Yes.
in time. Yeah, for sure.
So we got the now that's Thanksgiving. Some of the things that can easily burn are the rolls and because people forget, and marshmallows on top of the things, those burn easily. So set your timer, and temperatures also for meats and different foods. You want to make sure that that's at least a certain temperature before. I think it's 145, 165 degrees for chicken. I'm not really
I think it's 165.
165.
But
You
a
want
lot
to
of
make sure
stuff
it's
like, hence why I
or
brought
poultry.
notes. A lot of times, like if I don't know, I know where to find the answer.
Oh yeah, everyone has a
Everything's a Google
smartphone.
search away.
That's right.
Yep.
You know, trust but verify. You know,
Absolutely.
And don't be afraid to check the checker, because like if you have like natural gas and other things like that, make sure like you do secure. You know, just turning everything off. You know, because we don't want anybody to like kind of go to sleep with the gas still going on. Even if it's not a fire, it could become like a pretty big fire, but at the same time people can like die in their sleep because of like that gas that's continuing going. So not only is like having smoke detectors a good thing, but carbon monoxide detectors, because that's what really kills you. It's really not the fire, it's more like the smoke and other things like that people probably peacefully die in their sleep, and then they get, well, I'm not going to go graphic into details since this is a holiday thing though, but having that thought process where it's just like kind of catch it for the most hazardous situation, which could be at night when you're asleep and your guard is down, having those protective measures there that can actually alert or alarm you and your family.
Yeah, and it's colorless, odorless, and it'll kill you. But my favorite checker is the carbon dioxide checker. That's where you open up a can or a bottle and go, psh. Ooh, fresh.
There you go.
So what is your favorite Thanksgiving foods? Since it is Thanksgiving, what do you look forward to during Thanksgiving?
So honestly, up until recently, it was always my grandmother's cornbread dressing. She does it from scratch, and it is awesome. And but I just recently got married to a Canadian, so we had a Canadian Thanksgiving already.
Uh-oh.
So they do it in October, right? And it's the first time my wife ever made a turkey, and it was the best turkey I have ever had.
What was good about it?
Dude, she just seasoned it and buttered it like just perfectly.
Gotcha.
Like,
I didn't know if there's like certain type of seasoning.
I don't
like,
know what
some people
all
do
she-
Cajun seasoning and other things.
She
like
did,
that.
and I've got her into the Cajun seasoning since she's
Gotcha.
been here. So she did a little bit of that,
Yeah.
some rosemary and sage. She's a big sage person, you know.
Yeah.
But it worked out really good. Put a stick of butter in that thing. It was excellent.
Yeah.
So I'm
She's-
very
Does she
much
season
looking
it
forward.
underneath the skin?
She does,
Other-
yeah, everywhere.
We should probably get somebody from the Army Wellness Center on this podcast,
Yes.
because after this, everybody probably needs to pay them a visit, and you just start leaning forward with like New Year's goals and resolutions.
Yeah, that'll be like right after Thanksgiving.
That's
It's like,
right.
I'm so full.
No,
I know.
after Christmas, probably.
I know. I swore I was going to lose 15 pounds last year. I have 22 pounds to go. So, you know, I got time.
Yeah.
I got time.
Keep moving the goal stick.
That's right.
So what food do you look forward to the
And
most?
I really like pumpkin pie with my whipped cream, you know? Like I just douse the pumpkin pie with whipped cream and just eat it. It's just really, really good.
Now, do you like the real whipped cream or the Cool Whip?
Cool.
So
Cool Whip.
I'm
I'm just saying, Cool Whip.
actually, I just tried homemade whipped cream for the first time. And that was actually really good.
Nice.
You know? But you said stuffing or cornbread dressing.
Yeah.
To me, like my family, it's like the Civil War. My dad is from Georgia, and I'm from Georgia. I'm from Atlanta, and my mom and all her side of the family's from New Jersey. And so it depends like where you're from. Is it cornbread dressing or is it stuffing? What is it? you
It
know?
matters how it's cooked. If it's cooked
that
in
right?
its own casserole dish, it's its dressing. If it's stuffed inside the turkey, it's a stuffing.
Stuffing. Yeah.
I thought it was where you're from, not how you do it.
It's,
Well, that's
all on
like
how you-
pecan and pecan. I don't know who the heck says
So it's
pecan.
a what, not a what. Yeah, that's right.
pecans down the hall.
Right.
I haven't heard that. That's awesome.
No, it is pecan. It is
Yeah,
pecan.
100%.
That's right. I agree.
It's pecan pie, candied pecans. What the praline pecans? Those are my favorite. I get a big old jug of praline pecans and
See,
just
now
eat those.
it also depends where you're from in Louisiana, because it also could be praline.
Yeah, praline. See,
My brother-in-law is from New Iberia, so he'd
Bell
be,
Richard, Bell Richard,
yeah, Bell Richard,
Herbert,
Right.
A-Bear.
Yeah,
A-Bear. It is
We're talking
definitely
about the quarterback.
definitely
we talking about
A-Bear.
someone from Louisiana.
Well, there was Brent Favre.
Fabry?
Yeah, Fabry. I just don't get it. It's like Brent Favre. Fabry. Yeah, that's,
There you go.
French.
no, I love. I did make the first deep fried turkey that I created or made was it had this Cajun mix with it, and I used among other things crab boil and Emerald's essence.
Yeah. Emerald, I think, is actually from Louisiana.
Yeah, I think he's
like
from
the New Orleans
New Orleans
something
area.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty good.
That's a name you don't hear too often. You know? He's
Not
like-
anymore.
Yeah.
You gotta get. It's like bam.
Yeah.
I want to get my spice weasel. It's like, whap.
Yeah.
I love just put all these references in here. If you know these references, please see how many can you keep up with.
Yep.
So Christmas is coming up. Looking forward to anything in Christmas, or looking forward to anything for the Christmas season? Time off, vacations, food, presents,
All the above.
all of the above.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, to me, I mean, so we're gonna go. My wife, she's actually in the Navy, and she's active duty, so she's actually gonna come in town. She's actually out there in Point Mugu, California.
Oh,
So she's gonna come in town, which is great, and then we're gonna go out of town for like a little bit, visit family in the
That's
Atlanta,
nice.
Atlanta, Georgia area and stuff like that. And then come back, and who knows what else we're gonna be doing too. I love hanging out with her and her family as well. So it's good when you have that. And then my son's birthday is actually the 21st. So he has it like, if you get the birthday presents wrong, then you got a second chance, so
Right.
Christmas.
yeah. That's what
You're a good dad, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Mine really well.
mine's in January, and that's what my mom always
Do you lump
said.
them into one?
Yeah,
just
that's I was always, because mine's December.
happy
18th.
birthday, Jesus, and
And-
whoever,
yeah.
know. Just,
And Bob.
there you go.
Well, why does he get a bigger present? Well, no,
Oh,
because I grew up with two brother and a sister, so they were always a little jealous.
Yeah.
around that
Oh,
time.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's like people born on Christmas Day. It's like, wow, this is all for me.
Yeah, that's right. We all celebrate for you, bud. That's
right.
There you go.
So we got, and then after that, so we got everything pretty much covered. Oh no, we don't. Christmas is coming up, so if you have a real Christmas tree, make sure you keep it watered. Make sure your lights that you're using are rated for Christmas trees and not something else, because those will heat up and they can catch fire to a really one. Watch out for your pets.
Thinking of the cat.
Yep.
On National Lampoons.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you do get a live Christmas tree, make sure there's no squirrels in it.
that's right.
Again, movie quote, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But we got the Christmas lights. Don't daisy chain too many of them together.
No.
If you do outdoor Christmas lights, be nice to your neighbors and don't blind them when you turn them on.
National Lampoon right there. Yeah. All lessons
I know what you're
learned.
doing this
all lessons
afternoon.
learned
Yeah.
right there. It's captured in that one movie right there.
There's a couple Christmas movies you got to watch every year, and that's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and It's a Wonderful Life.
Elf.
Elf and Elf, yeah.
And I gotta throw in Jim Carrey's Grinch. That is a
Yeah.
tradition. For
Elf
me and
to
my
me is
family.
hands down. I don't know why I keep laughing. I've seen it like
Yeah.
multiple
Classic.
times,
Santa.
and it's still funny.
Sit on the throne of lies.
Yeah. Smell like beef and cheese. No, but if you don't mind, if I can add a little something
No,
to
go
it as
ahead,
well.
please.
So some of the things that I saw on the NFPA website as well is just like, of course, keep lit candles away from decorations. And we usually ask for like 3 feet, Some lights are actually for indoor and outdoor use only. So knowing and understanding the difference and applying it properly and stuff like that. Keeping children away from it as well. You mentioned Christmas trees. So they say before placing the Christmas tree in the stand, cut about 2 inches from the base of the trunk. And so you don't want that sap buildup there, because that's like going to be contributing to like the fire load and things like that.
It'll also block the uptake of water.
That's right. And water's there to, like, dead things burn very fast. You know, my brother-in-law is from Pennsylvania, and what they did back in college, because he went to Penn State, is they would actually go, like, you know, shortly after Christmas season, they would go and collect everybody's Christmas trees on the block, and then they would have a massive fire. They'd just sit there and throw all the Christmas
big old
trees.
bonfire, huh?
Yeah, they would sit there and throw all the Christmas trees there, light it up, and it's huge. But if I'm not recommending anybody do that.
No, this year we cannot do that because we are still in a burn ban.
Right. But I'm saying, like, the potential threat that it could have, you know. But no, doing that, and again, making sure that it's 3 feet away from any heat source like fireplaces, radiators,
Halogen
candles.
Floodlights.
Actually, that could be a threat too. You talked about adding water. Here's another one: is like make sure that the tree is not blocking an exit. You know, so making sure that we have like 3 feet of egress or uninterrupted space or unobstructed space and stuff.
They're supposed to be in front of a window.
Well,
you know, like a big bay window or your living room window or whatever.
There's a lot of stuff that you're like, well, everybody does this. You can't really assume, you know, because a lot of times
I have never
there's always
once.
that person. You ask any NCO inside the military and just be like, man, tell me something that, you know, they'll share any story like, I didn't think it could happen, but this person proved me wrong, you know, and this is what happened. But another one, you talked about like the lights and stuff, but use lights that are listed by a qualified testing laboratory. You know, people want to go for cheap stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you go cheap, you might get a hazard on your hands.
Yeah.
You know,
Personally tested by Bob.
that's right.
Right.
Hold my beer.
So with those lights, actually, and this is something I actually learned from the fire department here on post, was extension cords. Guys, when you're running your extension cords up for your lights, you know, from inside through the window and out and around.
Didn't say anything, Jeff.
Make sure you don't coil those cords up. I know your wife's going to get on to you, and she's like, oh, this looks like garbage. Roll it up nice and neat. Don't do that, because that heat generates in those extension cords, and it can start a fire.
And you can unplug them before you go to sleep,
Yeah,
too. You
please
know,
do
if they're not in use, you can go ahead and just unplug them.
I use timers.
Yeah.
Or timers.
Yep, timers,
Yeah.
turn them off.
Yep.
Yeah, the end goal is just to make sure it's cut off. You know?
Yeah. But I love it. It's the season. It's getting exciting. We got Veterans Day and Thanksgiving in November, and then we got Christmas and New Year's in December, because it'll be a day, or never mind. We'll get a day off sometime.
A lot of days.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you.
And I'd like to have you guys back in again.
Yeah.
At least next year.
Yeah. Again, I would like, you know, I don't know if we can like put this up or whatever, but again, the NFPA.org, I believe. Yeah, NFPA.org. And this is like / education, though. Great literature that's on there. So if people like, even me as a firefighter, there's so many things that we like, you know, whether it's like, you know, crash rescue with like a helicopter or airplane, or just like recovering people out of a vehicle, like education. There's so much stuff that, you know, we know a lot of stuff, but there's a lot more stuff that we need a refresher, retraining, and other things, you know, to bring up, you know. So this is one great resource that the public can view, free access, just to help them and their families to have a happy and a safe holiday season.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you guys coming in, and I hope everyone has a nice holiday season. We'll continue to do our podcast as long as everyone continues to watch. All of my one watcher out there.
Thanks, guy.
My boss is the only one that watches. But be sure to leave a comment in the comment section down here. And have a wonderful, safe Thanksgiving, and we'll be listening at you later.
That was easy.